So, you've been assigned to cover the energy beat in the Philippines. You keep asking yourself why renewable energy is such an underreported topic in the country. You think the transition to renewables is taking too much time? You bet. I'm Ramon Royandoyan, business journalist for Philster.com. As a journalist, I've reported about the intersections of the Philippines' green recovery from the pandemic and the construction of a coal plant in the country's ecological frontier. But reporting about the Philippines' energy landscape requires patience. But with enough grit, we can understand why renewables here are taking center stage. Let's break down with what's up with renewable energy in the country. First off, the Philippines is still highly dependent on dirty energy. After all, the Philippines is a big importer of oil. The dwindling stocks from major energy reserves, such as the Malampaya oil fields, certainly don't help. These leaves the country vulnerable to the crazy price swings. The majority of companies also rely heavily on fossil fuel to run their businesses, like coal and natural gas. Now, while the country's share in world carbon emission remains relatively small, especially in comparison with developed economies like the US, the Philippines still has to shoulder the brunt of the climate crisis. Think of Ondoy, Yolanda, Odette, all strong and deadly typhoons that have ravaged the country in recent years. In 2022 alone, the country has seen stronger typhoons like never before. It's clear that the Philippines still needs to accelerate its transition to renewables. And yet, there are still questions about the affordability of renewable energy sources. Or does it? Let's dig a little deeper. The Philippines could easily turn to 5 sources of renewable energy: hydroelectric power, geothermal, solar power, and surprisingly, biomass. The cost of producing energy from renewable sources has also gotten cheaper and cheaper. Here's the data sets showing us the cost of producing a megawatt of solar energy between 2013 and 2022. See the huge difference there? Oh, there's more. This one is from government data in 2019, featuring the cost of various other renewables per kilowatt hour. For context, the country's largest power distributor charges 9.86 pesos per kilowatt hour of electricity as of October 2022. Despite this, out of the total 106 terawatt hour produced nationwide in 2021, the current combined share of renewables in the country's energy mix remains frustratingly small. Still, there's hope. The Philippine government has raised the renewable energy capacity to 2.5% within its current power mix. Hopefully, this would increase the share of clean energy to 35% by 2030. More renewable energy companies are also planning to go public, while some are aggressively expanding. The problem currently lies in the lack of storage capacity for renewables. Thus, more investment and a fresh set of regulations are certainly welcome in this regard. Talking about regulations, there are 4 pieces of national legislation already in place to support the development of renewables in the Philippines. Former President Rodrigo Duterte also signed a moratorium to ban new coal-fired power plants here, which the Marcos Jr. administration would be wise to keep in place. Another issue to track is the foreign ownership of energy companies, which could pave the way for more players in the renewable energy industry. As the Justice Department Secretary recently said, natural resources are not covered by constitutional limits on foreign ownership. Now that you're all caught up with the Philippines' energy landscape, remember to inject human narrative in your reporting. Think of how your story can and will impact Filipinos, even beyond. Report on stories that are close to the gut. Talk to residents in areas affected by policies. Visit think tanks and NGOs. Your big story ideas can come from anywhere. Lastly, go multimedia for sciencey, jargony stories. Use new ones, engage more audiences, and spark discussion. I wish you great luck in your energy reporting.